In most countries, eggs are graded, and they are all graded very similarly, because a healthy egg and a sick egg is the same in Kandahar as it is in Perth, Australia, or in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so the actual lettering or details differ only a little. On a box of eggs or carton of eggs or dozen of eggs or whatever, this one has 18 in it, wonderful number. The grade is stamped on it somewhere, somehow. This one says Canada A, that's the grade of it. It also says extra large size. It also says white, but that whiteness is not, there's nothing to do with the quality of the egg or the grade of the egg or the freshness of the egg. So what goes into grading is, in North American terms, but it's the same pretty much, like I said, everywhere in the world in principle. And I've got here the, let me just lower this mount a little bit so you can see more of it. I have here the USDA egg grades and the CFIA egg grades. The lettering just differs slightly. AA, A, B, and inedible. Canada A, Canada B, Canada C. They also have a nest run, and so that's pretty much the same idea. 1, 2, 3 groups and a reject group, and 1, 2, 3, a third group and a reject. They look at exactly the same things because eggs are judged likewise, disease is spread likewise everywhere. So they look at the egg white. Oh, they grab a, I cannot do it here in front of the camera, but they grab a white light and they shine the light through the egg. Okay, that's how they look at the inside as well as they look at the outside. So with the bright light, it's called candling, the candling light, they look at the egg white, its consistency, its clarity. It shouldn't be hazy on the inside, that would indicate bacterial infection. They look at the yolk should be floating, and when they spin the egg, it should be free of defects. It should not be germinating. It should not. It shouldn't have blood spots or meat spots on it. Okay. They look at the air cell. You know, when you cook an egg, you know there is an air pocket in it somewhere. That could be smaller. That could be bigger. But they look at the size of it, and whether it's in inches, that it shouldn't be more than 1/8 or 3/16 or whatever the size, or 9 millimeter or 3 millimeter or whatever it is. They look at the size of the air cell. Stay there. Yes, of course, they look at the exterior of the shell, not the color, but the shape of the egg, whether it's misshapen, or the texture of the shell is, whether it's got ridges or bumps, or how close it is to the egg shape, and of course its structural integrity. It shouldn't have cracks in it, because that's where bacteria gets inside the egg. And of course they measure the eggs, not one by one, but by a dozen, and then they just divide by 12, whatever, but they do measure the weight. And here is jumbo, extra large, and this was extra large in this pack here. And you can have these numbers in ounces or these numbers in grams. They are pretty comparable. If you get a converter, you type in those numbers on your computer, you're gonna get similar figures for egg sizes. So that's what goes into grading, and that's what these grades mean. They are there for your safety. It's very much like lumber grades, where they look at the number of knots and the run of the grain and the cupping and the twisting of the board and those kind of things. something like that, and they work it out in a matrix that it may have a lot of weight but a cracked shell, a perfect egg cell, a half good yolk, and whatever for white, you know. So they look at these things and they say, okay, it's got a cracked shell, so that's a reject, something like that. That's how it goes.